Hey everyone, I'm Ish, AI Strategist at Dell Technologies. Welcome back to AI Recipes. This is where we whip up cool AI projects that you can actually do on your Dell AI PC. No lab coats, no jargon, just fun, relatable AI stuff you can leverage for your own uses. Today we're joined by another friendly face, Travis Wells. Good to have you, Travis.
Thank you, Ish, and hi everybody. I'm Travis Wells, I'm the Global Account Manager at NVIDIA, and I'm very excited to be here.
Today we're going to show you how to cook up a content generation app using AI capabilities found right on your Dell AI PC. Now I want to remark this is going to be a little bit different from some of the other recipes we've done. The point of this particular one is less the dish that we're going to make and more the process that you get to that dish with.
The recipe.
I see what you did there, the recipe. But first, let's make sure you've got all the right ingredients to make it happen. You're going to need NVIDIA AI Workbench, which is software you can download for free by visiting the link in this video's description, a free NVIDIA NGC account, and a Dell Pro Max AI PC workstation with the following: a CPU that supports virtualization, at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 80 gigabytes of free disk space to accommodate additional data, project files, stuff like that comfortably. You may also want to sign up for a GitHub or GitLab account and a Hugging Face API for tokens to run gated LLMs, but it's not required. So if you're unsure where to find the files or any of the sites I just mentioned, check the description of the video. You'll find some links below.
All right, so if you haven't already, you'll want to set up and install NVIDIA AI Workbench on your local workstation. The Workbench is compatible with Ubuntu or Windows. Just follow the installation guide specific to your OS to set the software up and any necessary dependencies. Then you're going to ensure that the appropriate NVIDIA drivers are installed in your system. On Windows, you'll need to install and manage these drivers manually, but on non-Windows systems, the AI Workbench installation process will install those drivers for you. Finally, make sure that Docker is installed and configured to use NVIDIA GPUs. To complete this step, you'll need to install the NVIDIA Container Toolkit. This will allow Docker to interface with your GPU. Once you've done that, it's time to move on to step 2.
We're going to open up AI Workbench, and we're going to clone the GitHub project linked in this video's description. Here's Workbench. You're going to see a library of your local projects. Now, very important, the button we're going to want to click today is not this big one that's screen and says New Project, it's the one that says Clone Project. And it's going to bring up this screen. In this screen, you're going to see 2 entries, and the second entry is going to populate based on the first entry. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go in, and today we're working from this one, which is the NVIDIA Workbench example called Hybrid RAG. We're going to grab that link, which isn't going to work that way because you'll notice it still says NVIDIA in it. So what we need to do is we need to fork it first. And once we've forked it, now we can work because it's ours. We're not trying to mess with what NVIDIA puts out for the world to use. So I'm going to grab that, paste in the repository URL, and you'll notice that the path automatically came down, right? So go ahead and hit clone. Now I may get an error here. The error is because I've done this a couple of times, as you might be able to see on your screen every time it says agentic RAG. So you need to, give it a number, make sure we're not duplicating names. So as this comes down, you're going to see a lot of stuff flash across the screen. Sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it goes really quickly. It just depends on your connection, depends on how things are, because right now what it's doing is it's pulling things from the internet down onto your machine. What that'll open up next is a tab called Hybrid RAG. In this tab called Hybrid RAG, there's an environment. In the environment are secrets, or that's where all your API keys go. So within secrets, you can add things like GitHub, GitLab, Hugging Face. GitHub and GitLab are going to help you with version control, which helps manage changes. And then obviously Hugging Face is going to give you access to that kind of walled garden of models. You can also use NVIDIA NGC, right, which is where we get some of our stuff from. But for today's purposes, this is a local example, right? It's a local example using ungated models. So what we're going to do is leave the secrets part of this blank. Then as you go in here, you're going to see this big green button that says Open Chat.
So we're using the local instance, so you'll be able to use one of these ungated models. And now to deploy the selected pre-trained model within the AI Workbench environment, you're going to need to prep the model to handle the interface tasks using these built-in tools. This can include configuring endpoints for model input and output, setting the batch sizes, and specifying any necessary parameters for the model to function correctly. To generate content using the pre-trained model without needing to configure additional infrastructure, use the AI Workbench interface to run inference tasks locally on your workstation. So now it's time to test our app. You can do this by inputting sample data and verifying the output.
Yeah, a lot of what Travis was talking about are the things that are buried in settings, the things that sort of like are personal to you in the way that you like to use AI and use your tools. And one of the main things we wanted to get across today was how you even get to this step, which is how do you get a local host up and running? How do you use code that's already been written for you so you're not starting from zero? Many of those parts have already been done. Once you're in the application, in this case, our hybrid RAG chat UI, you can pick where are you doing that inference, right? You've got your local system choice, your cloud endpoint choice, your self-hosted microservice choice. And if you try to use the cloud endpoint choice, but you've not included any secret keys for cloud endpoints, you're gonna get some problems, right? And it's just not gonna have anywhere to phone home. Now, as you go through this and you select local system and you come down here, you select your ungated models, and then you pick one, the first thing you're gonna do is download that model, and then you're gonna go ahead and hit Start Server once that model has downloaded. And you'll see there are little progress bars that'll appear in the bottom left as you go through that process. The difference between gated and ungated, Travis, I just wanna take a moment to talk about, because there are some models which, although open source and free, are still behind some sort of gate. So here, with this code that we have forked, there's already a pathway to like, let's go grab this Llama 3 chat QA, or let's go grab this Microsoft Phi 3 Mini 128K instruct. You can even pick the level of quantization that you want, 4 or 8, right? Depending on how powerful your machine is and what you're trying to accomplish. But like you said, it's time to talk to our friend here. So I'm gonna come in here, you'll notice I went ahead and uploaded a PDF, right? And then, hello, I have a task I would like your help on. Now, this inference is firing on device. It's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere else.
It's just completely working on your PC, which, as we've talked about in the past, it's not necessarily that we think that that's where all AI is going to run, always and forever, but there's a time and a place for a local workload.
Well, for a sandbox environment, it's a great starting point, right? I mean, having the ability to have these Dell workstations that can actually give you this level of power with the GPUs built into them. A lot of work you can actually get done right at the desk side right there.
It's the rapid experimentation part of this that makes it so exciting. And the other thing that makes it exciting is that with tools like Workbench, you don't have to start from zero. That's right. You can just go in, pull what you want to start with, come back and do this. So the process of getting set up with Workbench, not all that complicated, not all that hard. Pick the code base you want to start from and go from there.
Yeah, very customizable. You can see results very quickly. And it's just a really useful tool as you have this very specific data, making the AI actually really valuable and like a subject matter expert in a very short amount of time is incredibly valuable to AI workflows.
Yeah. Well, Travis, thank you so much for being here with us. It was a pleasure to have you. I hope all of you found this tutorial to be a little bit useful. This is Ish.
This is Travis.
It was great to see you all. See you next time.